humanity as a whole, it seems, is beset by a fundamental problem, which is that we have forgotten how to identify that which is truly promising and that which can give us a future that we can rely upon. For so long now, our perceptions have been confused because our perceptions have been managed to create an outcome which was sold to us as being for our benefit, though most of us now know that that's not the case. Even if we can't quite articulate how or why, we sense it, and every day more of us sense it. But the point is that we've been confused, and that confusion has been done on purpose through myriad of methods, and not all of those parties who carried out the mechanics of creating the confusion were necessarily aware and a party to that confusion making. But regardless, the result has been that we lack clarity. What we once knew as a certainty has been lost, not completely, but for many. And then with all the added variables of the new technology and the new challenges that we face as individuals and as people, it's all a mess now, and so many people feel it's a mess. And that in itself is indicative of the way things are now, and of our state, and of our mindset, and of our capacity, and of what we need to rectify, because confusion and stability just don't go together. And that should be self-evident. But perhaps it's not in these times of confusion. And it's just like with anything that is unstable. It usually moves. It moves a lot more than it needs to. And if you look around at our world today and you look around at the pressures that are put on us as individuals and as a society, and on our culture and our beliefs and our values, and what we have to look forward to or not going forward, there's so much movement that most of us can't keep up. That's the one thing we are all certain of, that everything is moving so quickly, too quickly. And what's the sense that it's moving too quickly? It's that we can't keep up. And why would we want to keep up? Because we know that we need to keep track. We need to know that we need to pay attention. Why? Why do we need to pay attention? Because we need to be careful, and we want to be safe. And if we aren't paying attention, and we aren't watching, and if we aren't careful, then things could go awry. And it's not always that we need someone to protect us, although many offers are being made. It's that we need to get a hold of the situation ourselves. We as individuals need to realize that we are in a state of confusion, and we need desperately to move towards clarity. This needs to be our priority, and it just isn't. Because, as I said from the beginning, we have been made to have our perceptions altered such that we don't know what's promising anymore. We don't know what's stable anymore. So many of us still have some intuition as to what this can be. But even the best of us, we too have lived and grown up in this world, and there's much work still to be done. But certainly movement, certainly speed, as opposed to stability, as opposed to stillness, as opposed to let's just stop and think about this rather than rushing forward into a future that no one, regardless of the promises they make, no one can say with certainty is a good and safe future when it is jumped into so quickly. We used to understand stability, strength. Think about a bridge. Think about architecture, how it stands strong and still and sturdy for centuries when it's done right, and how we feel confident to walk up the steps of these strong, sturdy buildings because we know that in their stillness, in their stability, in there not going anywhere anytime soon. They are safe and reliable. And yet in our modern world, it's color and sound and movement and change at an astronomically exponential rate. This alone should tell us this is not a safe state to be in. And if anything, we should strive as individuals and as a collective to go in the opposite direction. It's not that we cannot have advancement and progress. By all means, we should. But is it really progress when it's built on a weak foundation of decisions that aren't thought through, of desperate moves in desperate times, of confusion? No, that is the value of the pause. That is the value of the stop and the still, to gain that clarity and to gain that certainty before we then strive forward at an advanced rate. Look around yourself in every moment of every day. See where you are embracing the stillness and the stability and the strength that is necessary for us to retain that which is most valuable to us in these times. Because if we keep going at the speed and with the confusion and the instability with which we are currently going, we will lose everything that matters most. And by the time we recognize this, it will be too late.